Broadway is a word synonymous with the finest theatrical performances in the world. It's more than just a place, it's an institution that shaped the very fabric of American culture and beyond. But what makes Broadway so special? How did it begin? Why does it still hold the title the greatest stage for performers today? Broadway is about more than just the famous New York City street. Broadway is a 13-mile running street through two of New York's 5 boroughs, Manhattan and the Bronx, but its history dates back centuries, long before the first musicals or plays graced its boards. In fact, it wasn't even known as Broadway until the English took over in 1964. Before that, of course, the road was a Native American trial known as the Cosplayer trial. It was only later that the Dutch widened it, calling it the Huron Way, and eventually it became known as the Grand Broadway for its wide span. And still, how it evolved from that to what we know now as the epicenter of theatrical entertainment. It wasn't a single event or person who invented Broadway, it was time, place. And by the late 1800s, as the area now known as the Theater District began to develop, New York's theaters moved northward. This was the birth of what we now call Broadway, a place where artists, playwrights, and audiences gathered, creating a dynamic space for the theater to flourish. And then in 1866, something extraordinary happened that would change Broadway forever. The Black Crook, which is widely considered the first American musical, and it was also written by African, opened at Niblo's Garden Theater. This 5.5-hour spectacle was a hit. Combining play with original music, The Black Crook ran for 474 performances, the longest runtime of its time, of course. And with that, Broadway began its ascent into the world of musicals, which set the foundation for the art form we know and love today. Of course, Broadway didn't come without its challenges. Theater in New York has always been turbulent, with actors fighting for rights, audiences demanding more, etc., etc. By 1919, a pivotal moment in Broadway history took place: the Actors Equity Association strike. For an entire month, Broadway theaters went dark. Performers, many of whom were struggling for fair wages, better working conditions, and respect, took to the streets. The strike marked a turning point. The Actors Equity Association emerged from the battle as a powerful force, turning acting into a legitimate professional career. It was a declaration that Broadway wasn't just a place for entertainment, it was a place of labor and artistry, and it mattered. As Broadway continued to grow, so did the roster of venues. The heart of the Theater District now houses 41 theaters, each with its own story. These theaters have hosted groundbreaking productions, been home to some of the most iconic performances, and have produced actors and creators who have forever changed the face of entertainment. Many of these theaters were built in the early 20th century, and some are still in operation today. Their old world charm and grandiose architecture echo the voices of the past. Take the New Amsterdam Theater, for example. It was built in 1903 and is still running today. It was home to many of Broadway's earliest hits. Now, talking about how you become a Broadway theater, technically any venue with over 500 seats located along Broadway is considered a Broadway theater. But while a number of theaters on Broadway have remained stable, the shows have evolved from early vaudeville and burlesque to the more complex, highly stylized musicals and dramas that we now associate with the term of Broadway. All the way from classics like Oklahoma and The Phantom of the Opera to more revolutionary productions like Hamilton and Hadestown, Broadway shows have made not only on the stage, but also to the film, television, and the music. The impact of Broadway is more than its performances. It has a heavy influence that permeates pop culture and everyday life. So then what makes a Broadway show truly a Broadway show? While any major production that is staged on a Broadway stage is considered a Broadway show, there's slight distinction. The venue that you see, you can't see a Broadway show outside of New York City unless it's a part of a touring production. The term Broadway is, of course, reserved to those performances held within one of the 41 theaters in the heart of Manhattan's Theater District. So with all that, what does Broadway actually mean? It's a place where dreams are made, where performers transform audiences, and where art continues to evolve. Each show that graces its stage adds another layer to the history of Broadway, contributing to the legacy. Broadway has come a very long way from colonialism to today, and has always been about more than just putting on a show. It's about history, culture, art, and all of them converging together. And for every new generation of theater makers, it remains the ultimate stage to tell their stories. So Broadway is more than just a street, and it's more than just one theater. It's a culture and almost a civilization of its own. It's an area, it's a place, it's a journey with several theaters that have built a community around the art of storytelling on the stage. You can check out my History Behind the Musical playlist. And if you'd like to, you can check out a different video over here that YouTube has suggested specifically for you. And until next time, I'll see you later.